60 diesels. So what we are up to today, as you will see, we have an air-cooled Volkswagen engine sat on the floor, half connected to a Volkswagen gearbox with some axles hanging off of it. Now, we have started on the Geronimo, the Volkswagen Beetle. If you haven't seen the video, go back, because blue Volkswagen Beetle, Geronimo. Now, we got Geronimo running. Now, basically, Geronimo is here for a complete rebuild. And one of the main problems with Geronimo that he died, or the engine died, when the fella was in a university, and he didn't have enough money at the time to buy a 1500, so he put a 1300 in. So what we wanted was an original 1500 engine. So this is a 1967, 68, 1500 Volkswagen Beetle engine, gearbox, shafts. We've got a few other bits with it as well. Now this engine has done the heady heights of 8,000 miles, supposedly. The old boy, it's one owner from new. We got some paperwork with it, and basically the car got damaged in 1973. So he took the body shell off, took it apart, painted everything silver, put it in the shed afterwards, and never touched it again since. So as you'll see, everything's painted silver. It's all falling off. The exhaust is painted silver, so that's obviously never run again since. So we're talking sort of 73, 74. It turns, we know that. It's got absolutely zero end float. So what we're going to attempt doing now is cracking it off. Obviously, we have the original airbox. We have a wobbly loose carburetor on that I would say, by the look of things, is possibly on the wrong way round. Yes, because the choke, that's the hole there, and the pipe for the throttle cable to come through, or a choke cable, and everything is round this side. So that lot, does that not need to be missing something? I don't know, I'll work that out. So as you can see, we are free. That's good. We've got a distributor, we've got a set of leads, we've got a coil, so we need to check, probably 12 volt. The thing has oil in it, unbelievably, and as you'll see, it's as clean as a whistle. Look at that. There's no internet. I mean, that's not newish oil, that's ancient. Where's the dipstick on? Dipstick hole is there. We also have this here top quality piece of newspaper as an oil filler cap, but we can go nick the oil filler cap off of the other 1300 Beetle engine that we've got over there that we now don't want. So if anyone wants a good 1300 Beetle engine with known history, that will be for sale in a minute. So when was this piece of newspaper poked in here? 1989. Yeah, September the 4th, 1989. So that's been lodged in there since 89. So we're assuming that even at the worst, it probably hasn't run since 1989. So I think what we're going to need to attend to the fully floating carburetor with loose bolts, have a bit of a clean on that, and then we're going to also need to attend to points, some possible leadage. We're going to have to, we obviously got a gearbox on the back, and we do have a starter motor. So we're going to have to see if the starter motor is any good, and then we're going to have to check for sort of sparkles and a multitude of other stuff, and we're going to have to rig up some sort of temporary fuel supply so that we can get the brum brums out of it, and a few other things. Right, here goes. So what we've just quickly done, the carburetor was loose, so we've whipped that off. But it does seem that someone's covered up all the intakes on it, which has been on there for years. So we'll quickly just strip that, check that works. The fuel pump was loose too, so I've whipped that off, and we want to check there's a possibility that this is going to pump fuel. There is a set of points in there, which admittedly do look older than Christ on a bike, and we have got what could be described as a slightly mouldy looking distributor cap and a 1960s rotor arm with some goo on it. Goo and a lump of solder. I don't know why we've got a lump of solder on there, I'm not going to ask, but anyway, so this is going to need cleaning on. I have whipped the spark plugs out. They look like brand new, so they'll be alright. And what we're going to do now, also, what I did do is I put a positive lead on the back and an earth cable to the starter motor. So I'm going to go and squirt a load of penetrating oil in the cylinders, or the Bosch Innotec penetrating oil, that's about 20 quid a can. And then we're going to just quickly jar on it using a battery and see if it turns over properly. We know it turns over by hand, so we need to make sure we've got a working starter motor. And we can't really test for oil pressure. I suppose we could. There must be an oil pressure switch around here somewhere. No, I've got a raw plug. Look at that. Top quality. Right, battery. Right, so as you will have seen, we have the world's shortest earth cable. I'm going to try and jam in that on there, like that. So you've got the Carl's original positive cable. Wind that on there, and the key. So in theory, as long as the starter motor functions, we go across here like this. Ooh. Try not to blow yourself up, Emsley. There's not much life out of that starter motor, is there? That could be an earth connection. Starter motor is not looking the best. What a spanner. Right, let's try that again. No. I wonder if that's me earth. Let's try that again. We have turnage. Ooh. We've got the compression. Just run it a bit, let some oil come round. Right. So, in theory, what we need to do now is pop the spark plugs back in. I suppose a man could get all professional and clean on them a bit first. And then we need to try and sort some description of ignition system, so we're going to have to get a positive wire over to the coil, see if we've got a spark, then attend to the fuel system and find the oil filler cap, maybe chop her up a little bit, get her up on top of the stick just to give it that extra bit of hope, and see if this thing will possibly start. Right. Right, so spark plugs back in. I've had a quick clean on the points. Gerald Fudgy has made me a bit of wire up to run the coil. We've had a bit of a quick check on the carburettor off camera, and the float seems to be free, so I'm going to avoid taking it into a million pieces, but I have bolted it on the right way round. The fuel pump is bolted down properly and seems to possibly function. And what we've got trigged up at the moment, as you'll see, we've got a battery pack over. Now, that is linked to the oil pressure sensor. So at the moment, that electrical screwdriver is technically the oil light. So what I'm going to do is get charring on this a minute, wang it over. There's no fuel in it, it didn't fire or anything, but we're going to see if the oil light goes out. If my starter motor works, which it doesn't. Where's my starter motor? Right, so the oil light's out, that's good. So, next plan, we need to see if we can pump some fuel up to it. But we could just hook. So, obviously, if I earth that out, yep, we have oil pressure. So that's good. We could just attempt a bit of petrol down its yap and see if we get any description of spark. So let's just dose her up a little bit. Now this is 2-stroke mix, obviously to allow it a bit of extra cylinder oiling. Put a little bit in there, not killer. Now I'm going to hook the coil wire up and see if we get anything. My rubbish starter motor. Come on, rubbish starter motor. Come on. Stop being an arse. Here's my technical starter motor rejuvenating tool. Come on. Worked a bloody minute ago. Right, and again. That's odd. I lost my earth again. Let's just rejuvenate on that a bit. Not quality rejuvenation. Oh, that's my battery terminal leading. Oh, nothing ever works when you want it to, does it? Starter motor rejuvenating again. We've got some petrol vapour coming out of the exhaust, but we don't appear to have any description of spark. So, let's go back over here and see if we've got any flashing across the points. I doubt it's fairly unlikely. We'll use the oil pump tool for that one. Got anything? Oh, we do have a spark. Might need a bit more sparking cleaning. Let's just pull that off there. Clean on the points a bit more. Well, we've definitely got a functioning coil. Right. Let's see what happens. It's definitely not the best, but... Ooh. Let's char on the starter motor again, see if it flashes. Right, we definitely have spark in there. So in theory, smoke coming off the starter motor. That'll be fine. Have we got enough of a spark to fire it? Right, back round this side again. Right, we'll just pull a plug. Oh. See if we've got any description of spark at a plug. Oh, here we go, time to get electrocuted. Where is my spanner? There's my spanner. We've got a spark over here. We got a mustard spark, so we would assume that's sparking. Let's just check this one. Yep, we got a good spark there. So then we pull this one, and we've got to plug out. Yep. So I'm going to say we've pretty much got a spark to all 4 cylinders. Well, we might as well get posh and test on this one more. Man's going to get electrocuted, you might as well do it in style. Yep. So we have a spark to all 4 cylinders. I suppose we could have a look at timing next. Because we are assuming that these leads are on the correct way round. Right, so we've definitely got sparkles. We do seem to be slightly lacking in fuel from a fuel pump, but we're going to try that again in a minute. We're going to dosh a bit of fuel down here. Put the pipe back in there, because there's a fair possibility that in all that time the fuel pump may have quit pumping fuel. So, here goes again. If we click the choke up on full, which is that one because the choke would be electronic on this. So we'll have the choke there, bit of throttlage, which is that. And we'll give it another go, I suppose. Right, try that. Right, that's a fair sign that the big load of flames that just shot out of the exhaust, that the leads are not on in the right place. So we're going to go and work the timing out, and should be back in a second. I've worked out the firing order, which I think was 1 out. It was too far round this way. I've given up on the fuel pump because I don't think it's going to pump any fuel. So we currently have a high level fuel supply out of an old paint pot hooked up to the carburetor. Now, I am pretty confident that if I crank on this now, it's going to go. But confidence in this trade is always a bad idea, so let's see what happens. Never. Right, I'm going to need to pull some more snot down its neck. Ooh, that leaks. That'll be fine. It's only flammable liquid, isn't it? Come on. Choke. Let's try a load of choke. Choke. See if the carburetor functions. Where's my carburetor rejuvenating tool? Fluke a bit more petrol down its neck. Not too much, because this could all go horribly wrong and just have a big flame ball. do not want to stay running. Need you closed like that. You there. Gonna stay running. It's gonna stay running and it's gonna run out of fuel. Right, let's try the choke properly closed. Bit more fuel and then see if it will suck from a carb. Come on, Mr. Volkswagen. We do, rev it. Look at that then. Right, let's see if we can get it to run again. Being an arse. So, I think that's the first time in 30 years. Are we pulling any fuel with a fuel pump? Yes, we are. Right. Right. Let's turn that off a minute. I'll turn that off a minute and connect the fuel pump up properly now I've covered myself in petrol. So we need to put this line on here, and then we don't need a high level fuel supply, and we can try it again, can't we? So high level fuel supply is now abandoned. We'll use that leaning on its side over here somewhere. Perfect. And I'm making a horrible mess. Bit of a clear up. Top me petrol supply up and we'll let her run a bit. Right, let's see what happens 10 minutes worth of running. Oil is still good and clean, so nothing nasty leaping around in there. Choke, lots of choke. Oh, actually no, not lots of choke. Putting the ignition wire on would help, wouldn't it? Right. So it's now quite happily been sat here ticking over. 20 minutes, oil lights out, perfect. Obviously it's air cooled, so we'll have to worry about a cooling system. That's working. Burnt its way through at least 1.5 paint pots worth of petrol. Sweet as a nut. So in theory this car was parked 1974, according to the Buff logbook and the paperwork I've got with it. So that engine in theory hasn't run since 1974, which means it's been sat for the best part of 38 years. Gotta love an air-cooled Volkswagen engine, haven't you? I mean, it hasn't even started leaking any oil. I mean, the only oil leak is where I changed the oil pressure sensor earlier on, and we squirted some out whilst turning it over. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Really? Doesn't really want to tick over properly, but you can't blame it for that. I haven't even cleaned the carburetor yet. Right. Let's unplug it. Very much for watching. As you will see, as a bit of a lead-in, we have started Project Geronimo, the 1968 Volkswagen Beetle, because that down there is Geronimo's 1300 engine, which is for sale if anyone wants one. It's pucker, it's just not what I want. I want the one I've just got going. We've got the chassis shipped off to another piece of workshop, and what I'm going to do is, obviously we've got a load of video footage of it, so I'm going to put that together and put that up fairly soon. So if you want to follow Project Volkswagen or Project Geronimo, we've got pretty much everything we need at current to put him, well, we're not going to put him back together for a while because we've only just taken him apart, but obviously we've got some crispy stuff to cure both ends. We have some floor and stuff issues, which we've also cured at current. And we're going to have to bare metal this body shell. It's going to need to be repainted. It needs new wings. It needs new trim. All of that's coming. So if you're into Volkswagen Beetles, keep watching. But please remember, we're not Volkswagen Beetle experts, but we will get our way through it. I haven't had one of these since I was about 20, so I'm just sort of catching back up on it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Al, 6D Diesel.